Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carbro, and welcome back to the series where I teach you how to build Discord.pybot for your server. Today we're actually going to be talking about commands and stuff, so we're going to be doing the sort of thing where you can type a command and the bot says a thing. Oh, because I forgot, because the word hello is in that message it actually fired. That's really adorable. So let's go back into our little code. We can actually shut the bot down for now. For now we can have the REPL, but we are going to build a proper shutdown thing. God, I forgot about the size of the font, my god. Again, just I have it this big so people on mobile devices can see it. Plus it makes it easier to see my little template on the other screen as well. So first of all, we are actually... Oh, I didn't plan that very well, did I? I've literally done... do the shutdown stuff first. We need a command for that. We'll do the error handling first. God, I might have planned this, but I didn't plan it very well. At least I'm working all this out. So this on error function, whenever an error has actually happened, this on error function will be called. By default, it just sends the error to what's called the standard out, so it'll send it to the shell essentially. If you're in the idle, it will just print it all in red. If you're on the REPL, it will just print it out essentially onto the shell. We can make it do other things as well. So what we're going to do we're going to do something really simple about this. So we do actually need to go and import something in. We need to import from trace back, and yes, I am using PEP8 style imports. I don't normally do the spaces in between stuff, but you know, for the purpose of the tutorial, I might as well show off a bit of PEP8. Why not? These event args and quags, I don't really know. I know the first element in args is the message, so you can access that with args 0. And this can be called anything as well. But yeah, I don't know what event is. I think event is just passed through as a string or something. And I don't really know why, but we don't need any of that. Keep scrolling around all over the place. So what we can do is we can just say await get.channel admin text .send, and then because we can use markdown stuff, we can write this as a code block. So we're going to do that. We're also going to do an F string. If you don't know what an F string is, if you put an F in front of it and these little parameters here, take the thing. If you don't know what these square brackets do, then I would recommend looking it up, because we're going to be using it a lot. As I said, I'm not going to be catering to the ultra simple stuff, so you'll need to look it up elsewhere. It's essentially just it's an easier and better way to format strings. And then of course, if you don't want to use you can do that. There will be some instances where that becomes useful because F strings are a bit flawed, but they work for something like this. So we can, because format exception is a function, we can do that. Essentially what that function does is it just it just creates a string of the exception essentially, and this here just says print the last 1994 characters. Why is it 1994? Because Discord has a 2000 character limit, and these backticks, which are used to create a code block in Discord, count as 6 characters. So essentially what this will do is, if the exception is fewer than 2000 characters, it will print it all. If it's longer than 2000 characters, it will just truncate it from the start. So error might make a bit of sense. This isn't really going to be very useful until we get to command errors, because some command errors can be extremely long. But yeah, it's just a little thing to make it easier so you don't have to do stupid things with logs and stuff. So if an error happens, you just know what happened and you can look at it in the server, essentially is what that is. You don't have to do that, it's just something I like to do. And this raise thing will also raise it in the shell as well, and this will actually oh no, it won't. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it will just re-raise the exception into the shell, essentially is what that does. On command error is a little different. On command error is called whenever there's an error during a command, basically. But there are a few instances we want to rule out of this. So we are going to need to go back up to the top and import some more things. So what we are going to need to do is from discord.extension.commands, after bot we need to import bad argument command not found. That was a horrible misspelling. And missing required argument. So what a bad argument is if a command was passed in incorrectly. Essentially, what this is what this is there's a lot of is's going on right now. Yeah, if you pass, say if the command is expecting an integer and you pass the word test and it can't convert it, it will just come up with a bad argument. Command not found is if you type an invalid command into the thing, and into Discord. A missing required argument means that if there are required arguments, that it'll tell you basically. You know what I mean. I'm terrible at explaining some things. By default, all command arguments are required, but there is a way of making them optional, but we'll talk about that later. So the way to check some of these commands is instance. Another is again. My God, I'll stop doing that. So is instance essentially compares two things. So if our exception here is the same exception as command not found, then like we don't want to tell the user every single time that you got a command wrong, otherwise it's going to get very annoying. So you can just return out of that. If you are planning to build a bot for Discord bots and you don't do that, it won't be allowed. So you can do the same thing for the others as well. So you can have that, and you can essentially send. Oh, actually, just copy this in. I'm just going to use a little emote just to make it a bit prettier. But essentially, what you can do is you can copy and paste the Unicode characters in here, and Discord will automatically format them into emojis. So if you just go in here, we're going to bot testing channel for a second. If you have say the warning is the one I used. So you have the warning thing. If you put a backslash in front of that, it'll output a Unicode character, and you can copy and paste that Unicode character into the code, and when your bot decides it wants to use a Unicode character, it will just automatically add it to the thing. We're returning out so it doesn't cause any errors. Also, it doesn't throw any errors into the I mean, if you want to direct certain things into there, then you can. This CTX, by the way, is used a lot in the commands. It's basically the context. So the context is it's a difficult one to explain, but it's basically just a normal object, like a member or channel object, just with a few more things. So well, it's sort of like it's closer to the message object really. So this has an author, it has a channel in it and stuff like that, but it also has a few methods all to itself. So you see down here where we've done message.channel. We had to do message.channel.send because a message object doesn't have a send of its own. No, but a CTX does. So it's just the same as a message, just a bit nicer, really. And then we can also check if our exception is a bad argument. And if it is, then we can just ctx.send, and I'll just copy and paste this in here. From here to here, bad argument. I said you'll probably not see that huge amount, but if it's none of those things, then we can assume that we can assume it's a programming error. So we'll just say an unknown error occurred. We'll get rid of the bracket apparently, and then we'll raise our exception. So that will then call an exception back into the on error. Unfortunately, using on command error lengthens it kind of duplicates the error in the same message. It's a bit weird because it will say, oh, the command thing threw up an error, and then it will trace back and go, well, this error was the direct cause of this, and it just output the same thing again. I haven't worked out how to get it to not do that, but it's fine, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, that's pretty much all the error handling we're going to need to do. So from now we can actually do some commands. Yeah, we can actually get to the commands now. So I'm just gonna make a new little section. It's often good to comment your code at least a little. I don't tend to comment it too much, mainly because all my stuff is for me. But yeah, it's always good to comment at least kind of all this stuff, especially if you're doing it a single file like I'm doing. You can put it into different files and then import stuff in, but it's just too complicated for a tutorial that's designed to be fairly simple. So we're going to have a few different commands here. Actually, we're going to import some stuff first. import some stuff that we'll need for commands. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to the top, and from random import rand range, and then from Discord import import member as Discord member. The reason I import member as Discord member is just to make it more, it's just to make it clearer what we're using, basically. So we'll do the commands here. The first one we're going to do is a simple command that just tells the bot to say hi. So what we need to do is say hi, and then you'll have your context, which is automatically passed to the command. No, we don't need anything else in there. And then we'll just have await ctx.send. We'll have an f string, and then we'll tell it hey, and then we'll actually use a bit of string formatting to mention the invoker of the command. So what this will do is it will output a mention string that will actually mention the author, which is pretty nice. So to make this a command, we do need to do an extra line. We need to have a decorator called me.command. This is a function, so you do actually need to throw a function here. If you don't give it any parameters, it will take, like, say hi is the thing, so you need to do that for this particular command. However, you can give it a name, hi, name equals hi, and then you can just do hi, and then it will work. It's fantastic. You can also hide a command from the built-in help menu by doing a hidden equals true. The Discord API has a default help thing. So if you type help, it will automatically just give a list of commands and stuff. And if you have this hidden object, that won't appear on that list. If you want a description in the help, you can provide a doc string here, where you just have like a says hi. I don't know. It has to be triple quote strings. It's not necessary. I'll demonstrate that in a bit, but yeah, that's not really necessary to do for something like this. We're going to have a different command. Name equals name equals dice, just to show off kind of some logic stuff you can do. Even though we are going to be building a ton of commands during this. So roll dice, and then we'll have ctx as well. I always put hit the wrong button there. Hit page down, I think. So you could sned. Yes, I'm gonna sned this. So you can do, let's see, member.author. You can actually display their name by doing display name. They also have a name without a display. Essentially, the difference between the two is member.author.name will output the name of the account. Member.author.displayName will output the server's nickname if they have one. If they don't have one, it will just default to member.author.name. But if they have a nickname in the server, it will output that. So that's quite useful to have, really. And you rolled a, and then we're going to use a bit of Discord Markdown. So basically, a double asterisk will output this bit in bold, and then we can just have round range between 1 and 6. I know I put 7 in there, but 7 is basically the round range works weird. So this is the starting value, and this is the up to value. Up to, but not including. So a round range of 1 to 7 will actually create a number from 1 to 6, which they could have done that differently, but you know, what can you do? So rolls a die. And then we'll have one more, just for an interactive thing, just to show off kind of arguments and stuff. So we're going to have a command that allows you to slap another member, because, you know, why wouldn't you? Every now and then you want to slap someone in the face. You want to get your anger out, you want to have a target. This is taking advantage of the annotation thing I told you about in the prerequisites. Essentially, this target thing is just my own name for it. You can call it member if you want. It just gets a bit confusing if you have member elsewhere in the function, so I just call it target because it makes sense. And this Discord member thing is basically telling the Discord command interpreter that this argument should indeed be a Discord member. So you can mention someone in this. You can also give them the, I think it's a display name. The account name won't work, but the display name will, and it automatically convert it to a full member object that you can play around with, which is really nice. So we'll just have a little doc string for that, and then we'll wait. So ctx.author.display name, so that would be the person who invoked command. Just actually, I'll put it in bold as well, because why the hell not? Just slapped, and then you have the target dot mention, just to annoy them even more. Silly. So basically, that will just say that, I'm Parafoxy on Discord, and my Discord, my test account is called. Oh God, why did I use that as an example? Just say you had someone called Bob. I don't know. My Discord test account is kind of, it's just that name backwards. It's Parafoxy backwards, but it's not really pronounceable. So we'll just say Bob. Okay. So you can just have Parafoxy just slap Bob, silly. Basically is what that'll do. But right now, these commands don't actually do anything. They're kind of stored in the cache, I guess. I don't know what you call it. But to get them to work, we do actually need to do something down here. So we can actually completely reconstruct this thing here. So if not message.author.bot, so basically just to be called if the author is not a bot, await me, which is our bot object, dot process commands, and then we've got to give it the message as well. So what that will do is it's basically an API function that scans everything that you've decorated with the me.command decorator, and just works out whether or not a command should be fired, and it does all the formatting, it does all the fun stuff for you. So we're going to run this and see how many errors we got, because I reckon we must have got at least one. I can't believe I haven't errored out yet. My logic is never perfect like this. So we go in here, and I just really have a bot testing channel, not even bloody using it. Oh well, what does it matter? So if you have a command called hi, you say hey Parafoxia, and it'll work. If you have a command called dice, there we go, we errored. It was only a matter of time. A member is not defined. What have I done? Jesus, that's a big error. So what have I command call? No, that's not right. Member.author. Oh yeah, of course. It's not a member. It's the context. There we go. Live debugging, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. Oh no. So now if you have dice, Parafoxy, I rolled a 4. If you did it again, I rolled a 1. Alright, place your bets. What number am I going to get? Put a comment down below now saying what number I'm going to get between 1 and 6. You ready? I'm putting it on 3. This bot hates me, just like every other bot I've made. But yeah, as you can see, my test account is sitting over here. If I did the Slack command, fucking 2 1s in a row, my god. So if I mention him, Parafoxy just slapped Safarap, silly, there we go. Pronunciation. It's just the easiest thing to do a test account with. And I'm pretty sure you can actually do it to yourself, because I haven't done a... Yeah, Parafoxy just slapped Parafoxy, silly. Ugh. I actually hit myself in the face, so that was a bit awkward. But yeah, and then if I do slap on its own, you'll see missing required arguments. So we do need the other thing. And if you go into the help, you can actually see all the commands. So help, slap target. So it tells you this is a target here. And as you can see, those little doc strings actually came up. Hey, and then slap. So you can see here what this means essentially. It's it's standard command syntax for stuff really. So if you had a say slap target like that, the chevrons around each side essentially mean that the argument is required. If they are brackets, that means the argument is optional. I'll show you how to do optional arguments another time, because Should we do... it's come on to 20 minutes. I was going to do a bit of error handling to basically say, oh, you can't slap yourself, but it's like, you could just be like, if not, target.bot, and then have an else under here saying what you want it to do. It's fairly easy to get away with that. I believe with this target, I believe if you pass them... hang on, I'll actually try this because I don't quite know. If you pass something that doesn't exist, pass a member that doesn't exist. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Maybe if it's an optional, it probably defaults to. Because I know there are some instances where it defaults to you, but it must be if it's an optional argument rather than a required one. But yeah, that brings us to the end of that video. So now you know how to do commands in the bot, which is it's more or less the most important thing. In the next video, we're going to be talking about welcoming... No, we're not. We're going to do the shutdown thing, because I forgot. I literally just forgot that was a thing. We're actually going to put that in here then. Dot command name equals shutdown. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. Shutdown CT, and we don't need anything like that. So basically, it's something you can just do like await CTX. It's really nice to have this, and we are going to need to from sys imports. Bloody hell, that was a very interesting spelling mistake there. CDX.send. I'm shutting down. And then await, would it be await? Yeah, it would be. Me.logout, which is a really useful thing to have. Essentially what it does is it closes all the connections to Discord and logs you out, and then just have sys.exit and then pass in 0 if you want. If you want to limit to administrators, for example, if ctx dot, see if I can remember how this works, permissions.administrator. So the CTX is basically mimicking a member object at this point. So you have your member with their guild permissions, and then if they have the administrator, then they can shut the bot down if they want. Else, await ctx.send, you are not allowed. Scrub, I don't know. The format is of the bot kind of fell apart there. But yeah, that's very quickly just how a shutdown thing works. It's really useful to have because you can just call like a shutdown command in the actual server, and it will shut down. Or not. Oh, it might be ctx.member then. Is it context.member? Wait, context.author. It might be author actually. I can't remember. Oh god. The API, it's nice, but it's a bit inconsistent. So there we go. The bot hasn't logged out. Okay, so what normally happens if you do... Did I forget to do the await thing? Hang on. No, I didn't. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, sometimes the Discord just doesn't... I think it's because I shut it down too soon after I turned it on. But sometimes this just doesn't go offline until a while. But as you can see, it did perform everything it wanted to do, and it did actually close because you could tell REPL closed. So it did kill the process. So you can do it straight from Discord, and that's fine. But yeah, that is the actual end of the video. I do apologise for a little mishap there, but we're fine. Oh yeah, if you have any questions about anything, then let me know down below. Any feedback on the series, again, is still appreciated, so let me know as well. And I'll see you in the next video where we do stuff about welcoming members into the server and doing stuff with reactions, because reactions are cool as well. But yeah, until then.